If I find myself wanting to complain about any member of the board, I start by going in and looking in the mirror. It's my job to empower people. It's my job to build the community that they understand. If you're leaders, that's your job. There are other jobs too I've learned since then. As a Unitarian Universalist leader, I had to add on some additional layers, and some of my caught as my stages of faith developed too, and I learned new concepts and thought about new things. Here's one: integrity. The word integrity comes from the Middle English, integrite, from the Latin integras, meaning soundness. It has the same root word as integer, meaning whole. Integrity means to integrate yourself, to bring all your disparate parts into one connected whole. Not, well, I'm not really like that. Nope, that was actually me too. I was right there. Okay? To eliminate all the dissonance that you have, so that you're the same on the outside as you are on the inside. You know, people say, I like you because, you know, what you see is what you get. That's the compliment that I'm looking for. I should be exactly the same on the outside as I am on the inside. In Unitarian Universalism, we integrate. We have integrity. We are made whole through spiritual practice, reflection, and discourse with others. To be a religious leader, you must have a spiritual life that helps you sustain and honestly evaluate your own integrity. I also tripped across the 4 agreements then, Ruiz's 4 agreements, which I just absolutely love. We'll put those up on the screen so you can take a look at them. Go ahead, Charlie. It's a lot of text. I'll give you a minute to read them all. And then I'll remember Jane asked me not to do that. First, be impeccable with your word. Speak with integrity. Use the power of your word in the direction of truth and love. It's the first. Second, don't take anything personally. This is my growing edge every day. Did he swerve in front of me on purpose? Is it because I'm queer? Okay. Don't take anything personally. Nothing others do is because of you. When you are immune to the opinions and actions of others, you won't be the victim of needless suffering. I won't spend the next 3 miles reading his bumper stickers going, I bet that's why. Okay. 3, don't make assumptions. Find the courage to ask questions and to express yourself and to ask for what you really need to avoid misunderstandings, sadness, and drama. Couldn't we do this one like we should add this to junior high owl, right? Okay, all right. 4th, adult owl is where we want it. Thank you. Yeah, we never have problems hearing from folks what they really need until we teach them that they can't. You can't own what you really need anymore. And then 4th, always do your best. Your best is going to change from moment to moment. Under any circumstance, simply do your best, and you will avoid self-judgment, self-abuse, and regret. If you did your best, you won't walk around going, did I do my best? I didn't really do my best, did I? I'm sure this is true for many of you. How many of you have done something that you just knew was half of what you could have done? And a bunch of people come up then and they say how great you were. And you know, and I've learned, like, even if I think I did like 150% and people come up and they say, that was okay, I go, thank you. They come up and they say, that was really, really good. I don't need to disabuse them of that notion. I just say, thank you. All the time. Just be grateful. Grateful, grateful. Unitarian Universalist leadership is religious. Religious! We need leaders and followers working together to determine who we are and what we serve. Leaders need to help the groups we lead hear their individual calls to service. That's the empowerment piece. Help them discern why they are called together. Remind them of their call together frequently so that they never forget that they're not working at their favorite corporation. They should not bring practices here from their school, and we are not a human services agency. Amen. We are co-creators of a bold religious journey. Okay, if I needed models in the business world, I'd look for them. But honestly, these days, I'm hoping to be a model to the business world. That's not to say that you can't bring stuff you learned, but as soon as somebody starts saying, well, you know, on our staff, we make everybody punch a timesheet. Could we put in a clock for the minister? Okay, right? But notice in that last sentence, and I saw some of you twitch, and you tried not to, and I want to appreciate your spiritual growth even in this very moment. Because when I said leaders and followers, no one ran. That second word you don't hear often among us, do we? Followers. Followers. I always tell people who say, you're a really good leader, and I say, everything I know about leading I learned by following. And I'm proud of the people I followed mostly, but even the ones that were pretty bad I learned from. Here's another word. If followers didn't get you, see if I can get you out of your seats yet. Discipleship. Yes. See, words like this, some of us are going, yay, and some of us are going, oh, okay? And some of us now, we know why we're cats. See, the whole followership, discipleship thing, dogs have plenty of reasons to follow you, right? They're well trained, or they're just happy being around you, they're glad you're home, or maybe you walk through some bacon grease. Who knows? Dogs follow all the time. Throw a frisbee, they follow it. They bring it back to you, even if you don't know them. But I promise you, my friends, if there's a cat following you, it's an accident. In his last full meeting with the UUA board in April of last year, Bill Sinkford was asked by one of the trustees, if you could change one thing about Unitarian Universalism, what would you change? So you can have your little fantasy imagining now of what Bill might have said, because I could not predict what he would have said. But here's what he said. I would have us have the emotional and spiritual maturity to actually let the people we elect to lead. If we could do this, no one could stop us from doing anything. Isn't that interesting? I don't disagree with him. You and I, then, as leaders, need to build and maintain a culture of followership that authorizes leadership and holds it accountable in healthy ways. In other words, when we elect the board, for example, they're doing that work so we don't have to stay after church every Sunday and vote on the light bulbs. And so when they make a decision that we don't understand, we shouldn't be saying, what were they thinking? What's wrong with them? You notice when we don't like the people we elect, our whole pronoun set changes. It goes from the happy we to the us and them. This is how democracy works. I understand because we've been disappointed so often by democracy recently, but that doesn't mean we need to let that trickle in to our congregations. That doesn't mean that the ways of the secular world are appropriate to us. Authorization and fellowship is an issue that I ask laity and the clergy to work on together because it sits at the intersection of spiritual maturity and the well-being of the community. We need to model and teach leading and following. Both. There are people who walk in and we put them in charge of things because they won't listen to anybody else. So we put them in charge so they won't have to. I watch us do this. If you can't follow, you're not mature enough to lead. Leadership is no small thing. Leaders may also sometimes then be called on to do a whole lot of other things, but let's feel for just a minute, just the leadership thing. Take a minute. How many of you are leaders in any aspect of congregational life? Leaders, raise your hands. How many of you are followers in any aspect of congregational life? Leaders' hands better have just gone up too. I didn't look. I trust you. So take a moment, leaders, and feel the trust, feel the belief, feel the support of people who trust you to serve. Leadership isn't management, and it isn't oversight, and it isn't supervision. Leadership is strategic thinking. Leadership is ensuring that your congregation has a roadmap to a worthy future and a sound vehicle to get you there. That's what leadership is. Now, in your congregation, leaders may also be asked to manage or even to supervise. These are important tasks, but don't mistake them for leadership. They're just tasks that somebody has to do, but they're empty. They're empty tasks unless someone is securing the vision, determining the strategy. It is biblical. Without a vision, the people perish. Without a vision, the people perish. Somebody has to be in the vision business. Somebody has to be in the strategic planning business. Leadership knows that there's only one reason to gather in a religious community: to grow souls so we can transform the world. You can do this as a group or by outfitting individual community members so they can work individually and be supported in their faith. But this is the reason church exists. It does not exist so we have a place to hang out with our friends. Church does not exist because it's a nice place to be able to go and meet other people who are as smart as we are.